productivity is not about getting more done. It's getting more of what matters done.
That's important.
Right. And a fulfilling life is not about getting all the things done. It's about getting the things that matter done.
Hey, thanks for joining us for what has been, over the past 41 episodes, the Hemi-Sync podcast. The show initially started as an opportunity for me to have conversations with authors, teachers, and musicians who are working directly with Hemi-Sync, and steadily branched out to include topics relating to consciousness more broadly, as well as personal and global transformation, and just generally leading a more fulfilling life. As such, I've been considering a name change for a while, but now that I'm also working with New World Library, I think it's time to make it official. Going forward, this podcast will be known as Focusing In with Garrett Stevens. There won't really be much discernible change in the content of the shows, though. Our guest today is Samantha Bennett, who is here to discuss her new book, The 15-Minute Method, The Surprisingly Simple Art of Getting It Done, published by New World Library, as well as an upcoming book club she and I will be co-hosting. So you all will get a little taste of that today. 15-Minute Method is the follow-up to Sam's 2014 book, Get It Done, Start Right Where You Are, also published by New World Library. A writer, speaker, actor, and creativity productivity specialist, she's the founder of therealsambennett.com, a company committed to helping overwhelmed creatives and frustrated overachievers get unstuck. Sam is also a popular course instructor on LinkedIn Learning, with over 1 million class participants worldwide. She lives in Connecticut, and you will find her online at therealsambennett.com. Here is Samantha Bennett. So Sam, thanks for joining us. Please tell us about your new book, The 15-Minute Method, and what inspired you to write it.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Garrett. Hi, everybody. Let's see. The new book, The 15-Minute Method, what inspired me to write it? It's a lot of the same words that I was hearing over and over again. Overwhelm, busy, procrastination, perfectionist. These are all words that I feel like have gained too much meaning. They become sort of umbrella words that we, how are you? Busy?
No.
How are you? Overwhelmed? How are well, what's going on with this project? Well, I keep procrastinating because I'm such a perfectionist. These are big words that are describing a lot of fairly subtle dynamics. And so I kind of wanted to get inside that. I wanted to take away people's excuses around why they weren't doing the work that matters to them and give them a little breathing room to do the work that matters to them.
So before we get inside of it, let's just kind of handle the practical upfront realities here. Can we really get it done in 15 minutes a day? Can you give us some examples of, how this has worked for folks?
Yeah. Well, I want to point out to everybody that we get everything done in 15 minutes a day. I mean, how do you stay married? 15 minutes at a time. How do you raise children? 15 minutes at a time. How do you write a book? 15 minutes at a time. How do you, a meeting is 2 15-minute segments put together. So
good ones are.
The good ones are.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in any meeting lasting more than half an hour. Certainly not more than 90 minutes. Good God.
Agreed.
I'm telling you, one of my best-selling courses on LinkedIn Learning is called How to Stop Wasting Time in Meetings.
It's a huge time sink. And I don't think companies appreciate how costly it is to have, half a dozen people making 6 figures like in a meeting for 90 minutes.
The opportunity cost is outrageous.
Yeah.
Anyway. So everything happens in 15-minute increments already. And what I notice is that it is astonishing what you can get done in 15 minutes. It is even more astonishing what you can get done in 15 minutes every day for a week or a month or a year or 6 years or 60 years. And it sort of makes sense to our logical mind. Like, obviously, if I practiced ukulele for 15 minutes a day, it would not be very long before I was a better ukulele player, right?
Totally.
And, if you write in 15 minutes, you can write about 200, 250 words. In roughly a year, little under, little over, that's a book.
Yeah.
That's 50,000 words. That's a book.
I think the strongest argument is just doing the math. So like you're breaking it down right there, 15 minutes is 250 words, and that adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 200 days, something like that. I mean, that's What were you doing 200 days ago? You know,
Right.
you could have a book in your hand right now.
Right.
And
So
then, and actually, just to PS that a little bit,
uh,
and then there's the spillover effect of when you, because productivity is not about getting more done, it's getting more of what matters done.
that's important.
Right. And a fulfilling life is not about getting all the things done, it's about getting the things that matter done.
Hmm.
Right. So not only is there true, just flat out productivity math, and, like, yes, if you spend 15 minutes a day on this, you'll get it done. And if you're sort of touching a project every day,
Hmm.
there's that sort of spillover effect. It sort of starts to gain, I don't know, momentum all by itself. But there's also the effect on you.
Yeah.
When you spend 15 minutes a day doing something that's important to you, that matters to you, that lights you up inside, well, you spend all day with, I don't know, I have to find some kind of term for this, like positive smugness, like delightfully self-satisfied. It's a lot like when you go to the gym first thing in the morning, or you find out somebody's got a crush on you or something, and you're like, that's right, I'm amazing. Here, toss, here, toss. How can I help you?
Right.
Like, it's a delightful thing to feel your own sense of movement and accomplishment.
Yeah. So you're kind of giving yourself the gift of space and cutting through the overwhelm by picking just one thing to spend your 15 minutes on. Um,
Yes.
and so if we take that perfectionism piece, one of the things that I appreciate in reading your book is your sense of humor. So, I mean, you worked at Second City. I mean, you're an improv comic. It definitely shows up in your writing. And you kind of use perfectionism by turning it on its head, right? Tell us about that. How does that work?
I just think there has to be a more interesting word.
Oh,
I mean, when you think about your favorite movie, the one you watch, like no matter when it's on and you're watching it, like you've seen it more times than anybody should really have seen any movie. Is it a perfect movie? Do we love the people in our lives because they're perfect people?
hmm,
No. So what what if we could move past this idea of it has to be perfect and into this idea of it has to be, I don't know, rich.
hmm,
It has to be quirky. It has to be fast. It
hmm,
has to be pastel. It
hmm.
has to be warm. It has to be far reaching. It has to be at least hilarious to at least somebody. Like,
Yeah.
what is the thing that you'll like that would make you more happy than perfect?
Yeah, and you also use the examples of basically turning your weaknesses into the strengths. Like, I want to write a book, but I'm 85 years old becomes, well, I'm 85 years old and maybe that's not the best example, but you said, I want to be a health coach, but I'm 100 pounds overweight. But you're turning that into, a positive, into a selling point, into a hook.
Yeah, I'm a health coach and I'm 85 pounds overweight. You think I
Yeah.
don't know what you're dealing with? Who do you want
Yeah.
to work with? I want to work with somebody who gets it.
Right.
I'm starting a business. I have no experience. Great.
Yeah.
Dive in. I'll tell you, a good half of my success is based on the fact that I either didn't know that something was supposed to be hard or didn't know it wasn't supposed to be done that way.
Yeah.
My pure ignorance that served me incredibly well. And to remember that the things that you think of are shortcomings, your imperfections, the fact that you can't dance or can't sing, well, to be the person on the dance floor who cannot dance and is dancing with their whole heart anyway
Yeah.
will instantly make you the most popular person at the party.
That's the one that gets everyone else onto the dance floor.
That's right,
The
because
one
I'm not
that's
going
out
to
there, it looks
stupider than
like,
that guy.
yeah. Because the one that's out there that looks like they're from Dancing with the Stars, like that's intimidating. Like, yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to stand next to that.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
what's more exciting than perfect?
yeah,
Fun,
right.
inviting, cheerful, carefree. We want all those feelings, right?
Totally.
And if and I can tell there's some apple polishers out there, there's some A+ junkies who are like, no, 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 it really has to be perfect.
Hmm.
Like, honestly, do you want to raise your children to believe that everything they do must be perfect or they shouldn't even try?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
that's how you're parenting yourself right now.
right. You like the big thing now is teaching the growth mindset.
That's right.
Yeah,
You gave it a try.
yeah. Adding a yet onto the end of everything. So I'm not good at this yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh, I have a teenager friend who her shorthand for that is semicolon.
Mm,
It's not a period, it's a semicolon.
yeah. So it becomes a grammar lesson as well.
And the fact that there's teenagers out there who know what a semicolon is just fills my heart with joy.
All right.
I love semicolons. I'm a big fan. I
I
overuse
am
them.
too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
That as well as the dash. Um,
Oh, the dash. Yeah,
Dash is really
I
underused.
have a dash problem.
Yeah.
We might have to start Dash Anonymous because
So after we get past the initial obstacles, the perfectionism, I don't have enough time, you can find yourself into, or you can find your way into what you call the zone of creative genius, right? What is that? And does everyone really have one?
yes. So first of all, tip of the hat to Katie and Gay Hendricks and their work on zones of genius. Um, I think of the zone of creative genius as that thing, whatever it is, that you've always been really interested in, you've always been naturally good at. Maybe no one else in your family or circle of friends is, but it's just always had a lot of appeal to you. And, people may have said, like, wait, I'm sorry, you're driving how far and paying how much to go to an exhibition on what? And you're like, yeah, yeah, no, I can't wait. Whatever that thing is, that's has to do with your zone of genius. And we can see that we all have, complementary talents and skills because that's how we work as tribal animals. That's how we work as a community is somebody's more interested in taking care of the children and somebody else is more interested in fixing the things that are broken and somebody else is saying, hey, let's go see what's over that hill. Like, yay, that's a community. We're not all good at everything, but we are very good at a few things. And spending, again, even just 15 minutes a day on those things that particularly fascinate you, that you're particularly great at, can really pay off in so many ways.
And so one of the things that you specialize in is getting people unstuck, right? So you say that if we're stuck in life, it isn't about what we are or we aren't doing with our time. So what is it really about then?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's about being underwhelmed. Sometimes people say they're overwhelmed when they're actually underwhelmed. And that can be that feeling when you make your to-do list and you feel tired before you even start.
Mm.
You're like, ugh, right? We could also refer to that feeling as bored,
Oh,
right? You're not stuck, you're bored. You might also have been told you weren't really allowed to dream as big as might interest you. So could you be a little braver? Could you 10x or 100x the thing you're thinking about doing? Does that rev your motor a little bit? Like, what can you do to get your analysis paralysis, you're getting ready to get ready, your that idea that it has to be perfect? Like, what can you use to sort of motivate yourself right past it? And even if that, this is going to sound a little weird, but like, even if it feels like nothing, like, because again, the 15-minute thing, sometimes I hear from people like, okay, Sam, I get it. If it's like practicing an instrument or singing or stretching or, gardening, I can see how those things could be broken down. But I have to clean out my entire garage. That can't be done in 15 minutes. So, what am I supposed to do about that? I need 2 free weekends.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, first of all, yeah, show me those on the calendar. And second of all, if you do have 2 free weekends, you're not going to want to spend it cleaning out the garage.
right. Becomes
But,
the old story of how you eat an elephant, right?
right.
Yeah.
So if you go out, so let's say you take your 15 minutes and you take maybe a mug of tea or something out to the garage and just contemplate the garage for 15 minutes. Don't do anything, just soak it in.
Yeah.
And maybe tomorrow you do the same thing. And maybe you realize that those 7 boxes belong to your brother. Wait a minute, right?
Yeah.
Now half the garage is cleared out and you didn't have to do a thing.
Yeah.
Jeffrey,
Get your
come get
brother
your
over here. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So yeah, I invite you to rescue yourself from this myth of stuck.
Yeah. So let's say you do have to call your brother and it's a tough conversation. What are some of your tips for having tough conversations?
Okay, this one has gotten me through more hard things. I can't even tell you. You ready? Everybody write this down.
No. Pen's
Um,
ready.
Yeah, right. Uh, Hi, Garrett. Is now an okay time for us to have a conversation that I really wish we didn't have to have?
Oh, well, since you put it that way, I feel receptive. I don't feel attacked. I don't feel threatened.
Right? And I've given you space to say, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Sam, absolutely sit down. Or, golly, can we talk at 4?
Mm,
Whatever it is. Another way, is this an okay time for us to talk about something that has previously been undiscussable?
mm,
Right? And I love what your first reaction, right? Oh, I don't feel attacked. I don't feel cornered. Right. Because I've put us both on the same team.
mhm.
We're both people who don't want to be in this uncomfortable situation.
Right.
We're together on that. And especially I think sometimes in intimate relationships when the question is, hey, the living room is a mess, your schedule's out of control, my mother's coming to visit, and we haven't had sex since, early September. Now, best practices is to take those things separately, but they often come
Yeah.
up and to be able to,
Uh,
and so rather it be like you against me or me against your schedule, it's like, no, you and me together against the fact that the living room's a mess and the mother and the schedule and the sex and all the things.
right. Brilliant.
Also works well with airline attendant, like when you're trying to get,
Yeah.
if you take the stance of like me against you, you're not getting on that plane.
Right. Fewer and
If
fewer
you,
things seem to work well against or with the airlines, but yeah, that's worth trying.
but that attitude of like, hey, you and me together both want me out of your face and on a plane
Right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
You and me both want me to have a reasonable experience here. So
Yeah.
let's see what we can do to make that happen
I'm
together.
about to, right. I'm about to travel. I hope that does not become relevant for me. Um,
I hope so too. Although I
yeah.
have a friend, just as a
Huh?
sort of fun tip, I have a friend who he happens to be a hardcore Christian, but this is a non-denominational suggestion,
Yeah.
which is that he considers when he's traveling, he wants to be everyone's Jesus. He wants to be the nicest, kindest, most giving and generous person, just generous of spirit that anybody meets that day.
Oh,
He goes into every travel and he travels a lot because he's an executive coach. So, but like every Uber driver, everybody behind a counter, everyone, he just considers it his mission
yeah.
to be the nicest guy in the airport.
It's a good strategy. I mean, people generally remember how you treat them.
And feelings are contagious.
They are. Yeah.
You smile at someone, those mirror neurons are going to kick in and they're going to smile right back at you. They can't
Yeah.
help it. They almost can't not do it.
Yeah. It's a great tip. And just so people appreciate this, I mean, this is real and personal for you. So you share in your book that, you've been suffering or living with long COVID, and all that, that attends, for quite some time. And so tell us about some of the things that you've learned through that experience and how were you able to get this book written?
Yeah, well, the book, a lot of the book was written in 15-minute increments
Mm,
because having long COVID, and shout out to my long COVID brothers and sisters and anyone really living with a long-term invisible illness.
yeah.
Uh, it's not so fun. And there were plenty of days when not only could I not get out of bed, rolling over in bed seemed ambitious.
Mm,
And you guys know my first book was called Get It Done. Like I am the I remember calling my mother when I first got sick and I said, Mom, I've been in bed for 2 weeks. And she goes, Samantha, never in your life have you
mm.
been in bed for 2 weeks. She says, you broke your back, which I did when I was 20. I broke my back. She goes, well, you broke your back. You weren't in bed for 2 weeks. I'm like, I know.
Wow.
So it really involved a lot of um, uh, having Samantha, is this an okay time for us to have a conversation? I really didn't wish we have to have inside of myself.
Mm,
Like we have to have the conversation about how are you going to make money
yeah.
when you can't get up? How are you going to define yourself if you're not the getting it done person? What what things can you let go of? What things can you let go of for now? How can you ask for help? What? Ask for help?
Mm,
Yeah. Ask out loud for help from people, knowing that you are inconveniencing them.
yeah. And that it's okay.
It's okay. Again, that's what community's for. That's you
Mhm.
do it for them. You probably have done it for them.
Yeah.
And now it's their turn to do it for you.
Yeah. Lovely. So, I mean, you also talk about the importance of micro blessings and recognizing them. And so, how does having a difficult situation impact that, or how's it change your thinking on that? If it has at all, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love so micro blessings to me are just those little teeny tiny moments in the day where you just go, or ah, or
Yeah.
ooh, right? For example, I've got this mug of tea here in my art before housework uh, mug. And just feeling the warmth of the tea through my mug, and especially onto this hand. This hand has a really old injury from like when I was 9.
Mm,
And so the warmth of the tea that of the mug really feels nice on my hand. And just taking just an extra second to sort of sink into that feeling, to notice the cardinal on the tree branch outside, to notice the flowers, to notice the moon, to notice, how many pens. Like, oh, I've
yeah.
got so many pens. I love my pens. Like, what are the things that delight you? Because again, I think we like to act like, I don't know, like the big triumphant moments are the best moments of our lives, but I don't know anybody. I mean, I don't know Academy Award winners and Emmy Award winners. And uh, if you ask them the best moments of their life, it's not, when everyone was standing up cheering for them.
Yeah. It's the little
It
things,
was,
probably,
it's
right?
the little things. It's
Yeah.
when that walking down the street holding the hands with your 3-year-old. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a great feeling.
Yeah. That's so important to recognize that. Um, wow. Okay. So, you and I are going to be hosting a book club here pretty soon. You can sign up online at newworldlibrary.com.
I'm so
Uh,
excited.
yeah, me too. What are some things that you hope to convey in the book club that might not be apparent or readily accessible from just reading the book alone?
My quest for world domination. I would like everyone, everywhere, but let's just say a million. Let's start with a million. I would like to have a million people spending 15 minutes a day, every single day, on something that matters to them.
Mm,
And then I would like to have them. I think that would already just start a domino effect of productivity and joy. Uh, but I would also like them talking about it. I would also like corporations to start spending 15 minutes a day, start giving people 15 minutes a day. I
yeah.
mean, I keep reading the statistic that 77% of employees are disengaged.
Wow.
77%. And that number stays consistent through years, throughout industries. Like, that's the number. Can you imagine if 77% of your friends were disengaged, or if 77% of your money went away? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that strikes me as being a very expensive problem.
Yeah.
So my fantasy, and it's purely a fantasy, please someone try this and let me know if it works, is for corporations to say, hey, everybody, we've noticed that you're a person. So between 4:15 and 4:30 every day, or between 9:45 and 10 a.m., whatever it is, we're going to give you those 15 minutes for you to just do you.
Yeah.
Don't take meetings. Don't go to your email box. Don't schedule your dentist appointment. This isn't about clearing up your life stuff. This is about you doing those things that are in your zone of genius that you like. We don't care if it has to do with work or not. First of all, I just think that would be a very powerful gesture for a
Hmm.
business to say, like, hey, we get it. You are a person with a life outside of this building. Um, the next thing, though, is that if you then take those people in that corporation, you put them in a meeting, and then rather than them just saying, hi, I'm Sam from sales, or hi, but actually have them say something about themselves as people,
Yeah.
they will have a better meeting. They'll have better ideas. They'll be better problem solvers. They'll be more innovative. They'll be more creative in their thinking. And so I'm Sam from sales, and I've been working on a recipe for a gluten-free blueberry muffin because I can't find one that I like, and so I'm playing around with that in my 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And then Debbie down at the end of the table, whom I've never really gotten along with,
Yeah.
is saying, you know what? I spent my 15 minutes working on a gluten and dairy-free recipe for so. Oh, well, now we're gluten-free friends.
Yeah.
We can talk about and this person that I've never liked, all of a sudden we can have a big conversation about creating recipes when you've got dietary restrictions. You know what we call that? Engagement.
Hmm.
That's engagement. And people will do way more for each other than they will for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So that's
Eh,
it. World domination. That's what I'm after.
yeah.
Otherwise, enjoy
We're,
the book. It's a fun read.
yeah, lovely, lovely. Yeah, I mean, as an employer of people, that's stuff that I have to consider. So that's good food for thought. Yeah. Lovely. Well, anything else people should know about 15-minute method?
I just beg of you not to have this be one of those like, oh, that sounds interesting. I should try that sometime. I would really consider it a personal favor if y'all would just set your timer for 15
Yeah.
minutes right now. And if all you do is stare at a blank piece of paper for 15 minutes, well, 15 minutes of enforced boredom never hurt a person.
Right.
And when was the last time you sat there with a blank piece of paper for 15 minutes without reaching for your phone? Consider it a spiritual discipline if you must. I'm telling you,
Yeah, absolutely. And
there's something there for you.
there is. And if folks would like to preview it, go to newworldlibrary.com, look up 15-minute method. You can preview the ebook or the audiobook. If you sign up for the email list, you will get a complimentary PDF of the forward from the book. Um, so be sure to do that. And we'll look forward to seeing, hopefully, at least some of you on July 13th, live and in person. Well, live over Zoom. And yeah, you can dive deeper from there.
Book club, book club, book club.
Book club. Sam, thanks so much for joining us. Can't wait for people to discover 15-minute method. And I look forward to seeing you on the 13th.
Thanks so much. See you out there, everybody. Sign up.
Bye, everyone.